right, guys, we are back, and today we will be looking at how to evo your units quickly. This is almost the entire point of the game, is just to progress your units, evo them, make them stronger, so you can do other stuff better. One of the things people run into issues with is always going to be evoing their units, or how to get the materials, or most importantly, how to get damage in the orbs. So as far as getting these requirements here for, the metals or the spirits or any of those other raid drops, really there's not a really good way to do it other than clearing the challenger mode or working towards clearing that challenger mode and then just spam running it, right? That's the best way to do it. You amass them ones you need, and then you can kind of craft them. If you're really not getting lucky, you can kind of convert stuff, or if you want to make it faster, you can use the alchemy system, right? So like I could turn one of these metals into a dark spirit for a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's kind of the only real way to speed that up, is maybe using the alchemy system if you're getting bad luck. But the big focus of what we're going to be looking at here today is gonna be damage farm and orb farm. When you're farming for orbs, the most important thing you want to be doing is working on a character's evo while you grind those orbs. If you're not working on a character while you grind those orbs, you're just losing out on some grinding efficiency. As for damage, we're going to go over how to kind of build the best team you possibly can to get in there and get the most damage on your unit. So first of all, what you're going to look at is there's a few different things you can use, which are going to be like stun, time stop, rewind, slow, etc., all that stuff. So you're trying to get as jam-pack as many of those as you possibly can onto your team. Realistically, as far as damage goes, or DPS, quote-unquote, units you're going to bring, are really just going to be the unit you're working on. And maybe like if they have a good leader, or if they don't have a leader themselves, then you would run them in that. You would bring their leader as well for that big bonus. So in this case, Okior's got about an 80% leader, so he's the last unit I need to evo in the entire game. So we're going to bring him, and I'm just going to have him as my leader, right? The only difference is I can maybe be able to get like 40% more or something, but like that's not big enough where I care about it compared to what these supports do. So the reason we're going to bring Shanks is he has time stop and a stun, right? Both of those things. Alternative time stop units, if you don't have them, can be Jotaro or Dio. Stun units, Shanks himself, even base, is a stun unit, or any other stun unit's fine. Gilgamesh honestly is a stun unit. As for Shinji, nobody really does what Shinji does, which is like a small rewind, meaning once the unit enters his range, they get moved back a little bit. You could use on like first evo Shinji instead of second. It's slightly worse because it doesn't have the Bankai, so it's not as good for holding, but as far as keeping those units grouped up and keeping them from reaching the end, he'll function. Power Reaper is, in my opinion, probably one of the most important on here, right? He applies a ton of debuffs, and he has the big rewind, which is a 30-second rewind on the map, which is crazy. It's so good. If you don't have him, I highly recommend that you start grinding for him. He is awesome. Last but not least is Gojo. Gojo is just way too good of a support. He slows, he knocks back, and he applies Cosmic, which is another slow. As well as has a full 50-second time stop. So he is also great. So I would say probably if you're looking to progress into making your damage farms easier, Gojo and Power Reaper are probably, in my opinion, the two biggest that you're going to see. Also, because they hit airs, and they can hit airs early on in this when you need it. Finally, you're just bringing Oshi almost guaranteed. That's your money gen and your buff. So if you need her as well. There's pretty much nothing else about it unless you're going to run with somebody else. If you run with somebody else, this becomes way better, right? Because they can bring more support units. So I mentioned a couple already, like Dio or Jotaro, but additional supports you can bring if maybe you're missing some of these. Peace Symbol and Chaos Symbol, that's a 50% damage buff if your unit is either a villain or a hero. Great units to bring, great supports. Who else? Gyu's an AoE slow if you really want. So he can be a slow unit. He's not bad even on his unevoed version, but it's not that much damage, right? So you still want these units to kind of do some damage. The other ones are going to be things that apply fear and despair, like Blackbeard. So what you can do is, because there's 4 of them and they usually come in 4, you can, and I think Joker's another one, right? So you can get it up to max upgrade where it has fear, and then max one out that has despair, set those to last, and then do it again, but leave them on first. And that way you're kind of spreading despair onto everything, and fear. So those are also really good, you know, freeze units, etc. So really you're just looking for whatever keeps the units on the map in your unit's damage range as long as possible. So currently, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here. We have how much damage on our Ulquiorra? His name is just Dark Hollow. And I have 31.7 bill. We're going to be kind of shooting to see how much we can get. On average of like a bad run, it's like 8 bill that I've been getting. But I think on a good run, we can definitely push that a little further. So without further ado, I'm going to probably hop in this in a second. The last thing to note is what map we're going to do. Just look at the unit you're farming on, guys, here. So he's green. So look at the wheel. Green beats blue. If we do blue orbs, that is now 2 times damage he does to everything he fights. That's awesome. That's just free bonus multiplier for Ulquiorra, or the unit that you're farming, right? So you'll just look at this, figure out which one you need, go to that map. And when you go in there, if you can do it, you want to do the highest difficulty you can, because they're going to scale up faster, meaning they're kind of getting stuck and your unit's able to non-stop just keep hitting units, as opposed to maybe your support units killing them. They're going to cap out the maximum damage they can do, as opposed to overkilling and wasting some of those attacks. So really you want to do the highest you can. In this case, I'm going to be doing Challenger. So we come down, we're doing blue, and I'm putting it on Challenger. I'm going to send this, we'll get in there, and I'm really going to just speed through this as fast as I can, and I'm going to show you guys, I'll stop it at important times to kind of show you the importance of certain things. All right, so we are here. So first thing I'm going to do when I get in is place my unit to hold the unit I'm farming damage on. So I know he has a line just because I've done this damage farm for him a bit. So we're going to set up the line so he can hit that whole thing here, and then just speed it up, get our idle buff down, get this rolling, and get him damage farming. You can play with auto skip. The only thing we're really worried about is paying attention to is going to be wave 6. Wave 6 is when the first flying enemies come out, so you need to make sure to have a flying unit that you can hit. I'm going to use Power Reaper in this case, even though he's weak to it. He'll be able to hold, and we'll be able to kind of get that addressed. So I'm going to speed it up until probably we get to 5. Okay, so we have gotten a wave 5 here, so we get our first choices. If your unit is like a full AoE unit or needs more range to kind of be effective, go ahead and pick this range and attack one if you don't have Merlin. If you know your unit hits all the way to the end or hits large areas without needing that, then go ahead and pick attack. That's perfectly fine. As said, there are those airs, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop Power Reaper. We'll even max him out, just to make sure we can confidently deal with all those airs. So I know Ulquiorra from right here hits that whole thing, so I'm picking attack, just so we can stack as much damage as possible. All right, moving back forward. All right, so I have finished all the Ulquiorras. They're just going to keep sending it down there. Now I'm going to start working on all my supports, just getting them set up and functioning. So with Gojo, we're going to have 1 on blue, 1 on purple, 1 on red. Power Reaper, we'll just need to at least have 1 max. And then Shinji, I can put down right now, so he'll rewind them back if they start pushing up. And then Shanks will set up for the time stop rotation. That's pretty much it. We'll just speed through this, and I'll show you guys what the results look like at the end. So with that, we have everything kind of leveled up, functioning. I've been feeding. I got a stockpile of food here, so that's good. No issues. So really now all we're waiting is for we're just letting these units get hit, and then as they kind of push through, we'll use the support abilities that we've set up, and I'll fast forward until we need to do that, and then I'll kind of explain it as it happens. So it's looking like it's going to be shorter than I might have thought. But we're going to play kind of around here if I think. All right, we're definitely not killing that one. So we're going to go ahead and start. First of all, the Power Reaper Rewind. We're cooking, we're moving. So the reason we're not getting as far is because a lot of these carries are red. So they don't get to do that much damage, unfortunately. Then we'll set up the time stop here, waiting. Do it any second because we want as much stacked up right there where they're attacking as possible. I clicked off and I'm at the time stop. All right, so we're actually at a unit limit, so that's a pretty good time. We're going to time stop that, and then I'm going to hit Shinji because we're at unit limit. So all of these units, this just is another wall that can help to kind of push stuff back and keep units flowing. But that's about it. From here, now I just speed it up until we lose. I spam skip to try to get more units on the map. And we'll see how much damage we get at the end of this. All right, that is it. So when you get to this screen, you want it to keep going. Do not interrupt it. Don't just leave. Let it count down because you continue to get damage during that. That is important. So let's go ahead and see how much damage we managed to get. That's my quest. That's just a habit of clicking. Alright, so we come down to Ulquiorra. We were at 31.7. Where are you? We got almost 10 bill damage on it in one run. And honestly, and that was without limit break. It's with a pretty good roll. But then on top of that, that was really like doing blue is one of the hardest ones because of all those units are red, so they don't let it go as long because they don't kill the units as well. But 10 bill damage, pretty solid. We could have even buffed his damage up with these. And again, if we had more people, we would have done that. So that's really how this farm that's kind of the best way to grind the damage and get your units evoed. That's in the game, right? The only other thing to note is going to be gold, which you just do Metal Rush with crit units. There's really no other way. The damage farm is really the big one in my opinion here. So with that, that's pretty much it. Thanks for checking it out. If there's anything I missed or if you think there's any other significant units people should know about, please drop them down in the comments below and hit subscribe for me. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good one.